For the past few years, there's been a lot of discourse about the Ukraine war, mostly among leftists. There's been a lot of people disagreeing with each other about the Ukraine war, and it's caused a lot of division on the left. And I'm just gonna talk about why a lot of the reasons, like there's been a lot of uh, problems that people have had with different groups and parties is really hurting the left. And I have really seen it a lot in the Green Party politics, socialist politics, different parties. But in the Green Party, uh, back when Holly Hawkins was the presidential candidate in 2020, shortly after Russia invaded Ukraine, Howie Hawkins was a supporter of the liberation struggle of the Ukrainian people. He is an anti imperialist and he supported the Ukrainian people. And this was from 2023. This was, I think it was, this was written by him, I think. And so the Ukrainian Solidarity Network was at a meeting, a socialist conference, and basically it was a group of socialists that was talking about uh, opposing all imperialism, including Russian imperialism. And that's the problem that a lot of people are having is people can agree on opposing American imperialism in Venezuela, in Cuba, in Palestine, and other countries as well. But right now, the Ukrainian people are dealing with Russian imperialism, and of course, you can not like the Ukrainian government. I disagree with uh, many things that Vladimir Zelensky has done, uh, and uh, like you can disagree with things that he's done, but the problem is when a lot of leftists will try to paint all the Ukrainian people as one thing and say that like all the Ukrainian people are Nazis and that we should not support the Ukrainian people and that we should support Russia. When you look at the Russian government, they do not really. Vladimir Putin has done many terrible things that the Ukrainian government has not done, and uh, Russia did start this war by invading Ukraine, and that ended up causing NATO to get involved. So I do agree with Howie Hawkins with what he said about the Ukrainian liberation movement, and you don't like I personally am not a big supporter of NATO, but I think there should be peace. I don't think this war should be continuing, but I mean, I'm a non-interventionalist. I don't think we should be getting involved in these endless wars. Uh, and that's like for any war. But when Jill Stein was running for president, there was a lot of discussion about this because she was an anti-imperialist candidate. She wanted to disband NATO and she wanted peace. But she made a post on Twitter saying that we should condemn all war criminals, Benjamin Netanyahu, and she included Vladimir Putin, and of course all the other war criminals. Uh, and you had so many people criticizing her for this, and I just like I don't really see why. Like, uh, it's such a bad thing that she's calling out war criminals. Like how, and the problem is when like they cannot prove that Vladimir Putin is not a war criminal because he obviously is. But like, and also like Vladimir Putin is not a socialist. I don't really. I find it unserious that people are saying that he is, and like you have the PSL, the Liberation News.org. There's an article from February of 2022. I'm trying to pull it up on here. So this was the post from Jill Stein from when she was running for president. And here is the news article from. So this is like the PSL's uh, news website, and they basically was saying that like uh, the Russian government called for negotiations about security, and that like the invasion of Ukraine was planned. So they said that they do not support the Russian invasion, and they have strong condemnation for the U.S. government, and that this is the consequence of decades of NATO and the United States, and the Party for Socialism and Liberation demands the U.S. government and its allies in the imperialist NATO military immediately cease their provocative behavior designed to escalate the crisis and provide security guarantees that can be foundation for the restoration of peace. The cornerstone of which must be a pledge to end NATO expansion. This is what can bring relief to the people of Ukraine. So I agree with most of that, but I don't think we should be like defending what Russia did. And this is what the DSA actually said, and they took a very strong stance in wanting peace in Ukraine. This is what they said: the war in Ukraine is a disaster for the working class people in Ukraine. So they mentioned how this would affect the working class in Ukraine, the working class in Russia, and most people do. They are like don't want this war. They don't like this. What the governments there are doing, and we should be trying to support the people, the working class of Ukraine, and that is what the DSA pointed out. Yeah, I'm trying to pull up what they said about this. So they said that the Democratic Socialists of America condemns Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine and demands immediate diplomacy and de-escalation to resolve this conflict. We stand in solidarity with working class people in Ukraine and Russia. So this is probably the best statement I've seen from any of these left groups. And they also, the DSA says they oppose NATO. So I don't really see what like some of these people on the left, ACP members, saying that like DSA is not anti-imperialist and that like they they want to abolish NATO, but they also like support the working class people of Russia and Ukraine. So here's another statement they made, basically the same thing. DSA reaffirms our call for the U.S. to withdraw from NATO and to end the imperialist expansionism that set the stage for this conflict. So here's what the Working Families Party said about this. A lot of different left parties, totally different statements on this, and it's all like dividing the left because there's people that support Russia, there's people that support Ukraine, and don't think we should be criticizing the Ukrainian government, and then there's people like me that think that we that are non-interventionists that want to end the war, but also uh, think that like Russia invading Ukraine was very wrong. But here's the Working Families Party statement on this, and this is from their national director Maurice Mitchell. He said, "We condemn Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine in the strongest possible terms. This war of aggression has already cost civilian lives. We mourn the dead and extend our deepest solidarity to the people of Ukraine." So I don't know if they mentioned NATO in this, and so this is where like they were like Working Families Party statement on this was very pro Ukraine and sort of pro NATO. I'm gonna read the last part. We urge the Biden administration to pursue diplomacy and coordination with our allies to bring about a negotiated resolution to the immediate crisis in Ukraine. So I mostly like as the DSA member and a Working Families Party member, I'm more with what the DSA said about this, and like I just think like Working Families Party has like I would love for it to be the leftist party uh that can try to change the Democratic Party, but the problem is that there's too many liberals, and like until there's more actual left members, the party is going to continue to be sort like we're gonna keep getting statements like this that are like that sound like something that you would see from a Democrat. But that's basically my take on all of this and all the infighting on the left on the Ukraine and Russia war. But at the end of the day, like most people want peace, and that is what we should all be pushing for as leftists. And I mean, it's honestly disappointing to see like people uh like not focus on the common interest that we have in ending the war and instead trying to make this about supporting one country over the other or uh, trying to paint an entire country of people as one particular ideology.